Attention please, attenzione a tutte le donne del vino. All of the women of wine who are here today are kindly asked to go have the photo now. So if you would get up before we have the conference, we're going to have the photo. Cioè facciamo la foto prima del convegno, quindi siete pregate di mettervi gentilmente dove indicano, ecco, dove c'è la Presidente. Facciamo prima la foto. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to our forum of Le Donne del Vino del Mondo. Benvenuti al nostro foro. Chi vuole cuffie perché la lingua ufficiale sarebbe l'inglese, quindi andremo avanti in inglese. Se qualcuno ha bisogno di cuffie abbiamo la simultanea, quindi siete pregati di alzare una mano, credo che così portano le cuffie. Cuffie per le persone con le mani alzate. Okay, so after our photo opportunity, we're going to start this conference. And it's my great honor and pleasure to introduce the president of the biggest association of women in wine in the world, Le Donne del Vino, Italiana. We are the biggest. Our indefatigable president, Donatella Cinelli Colombini, whom everyone has been greeting as Nonna because she recently became a grandmother, and so we cannot but congratulate her on this addition to her family and wish them all the best. And so it's my pleasure to turn the floor over to Donatella Cinelli Colombini.
Thank you. Thank you all to be here. And it is a great pleasure for me to give you our welcome. Welcome in Italy, welcome in Cimei, and welcome in the Donne del Vino conference. I have to thank to a lot of people that was the real host today. Lamberto Frescobaldi, the president of Unione Italiana Vini Association, Paolo Castelletti, the director of Unione Italiana Vini, and Giulio Somma, that is the director of our newspaper. And also the lady who worked to decide, to create this agreement that today we are going to sign, Gildia Martuscello, Tiziana Mori, and Francesca Poggio. Thank you for your work. Thank you to Susanna Branciaforte. Susanna Branciaforte is a member of our association from Liguria. Thank you to Giovanna Prandini, Giordana Olivini, and Ambra Tiraboschi that hosted you yesterday in the visit of the Lugana area. Thanks to Roberta Lanero, Antonietta Mazzeo, and Roberta Urso that are here to explain you the project about the wine teaching in the Italian school. And thanks to the foreign guests from Argentina, Australia, Austria, Chile, Croatia, France, Georgia, Germany, New Zealand, Peru, that after will explain us something about their association and sign with me the international agreement to grow up an international networking between our association. And so, thank you for coming, and let's start this conference.
And I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce Monica Petrazzini, the exhibition manager of Cimei. Thank you for being with us, and would you like to say a few words?
Yes. So, thank you to all. I'm really happy to welcome all of you here in Milan, in Cimei. I'm very happy that you are here with us. I thank you, Mrs. The President, Donatella Cinelli Colombini, to have accepted in 2019 my invitation to organize here the first convention of all the association of you all around the world here. It was very successful, and so this year we repeat with pleasure. And I am here to speak also and to say hello and welcome to you from our president, Mr. Frescobaldi, and our General Secretariat, Mr. Castelletti, that can be here now, but they are very happy to have organized this meeting and to welcome you all in CIMEI. So have a nice conference and have a nice day to visit. I hope you will visit the exhibition and all the exhibitors that are here. Thank you.
Okay. Now we're going to start our conference with the first presenters who are from Italy, and we have their project about Di Vino. So Donatella will present.
Now I am very proud to show you what we made in the last 3 years in Italy. How to move, yeah. This is the symbol of this year for the association, Women, Wine and Future. We choose a symbol and a project each year, and we are 1,020 members now, and we worked for a lot of projects. First of them is the recipe. We collect the local recipe of the local kitchen in Italy. We have about 130 recipes now, and we project to post it in the national website of tourism. We try to help the people that are in danger, in a situation of real danger, and we have a red button in our website to have our help. We have a sharing corner. I hope that the foreign members of different foreign associations will use this corner to share opportunities, to look at people to work and to offer stage or employ in their winery or in restaurant or in wine shops. We collect the used cork. Amorin cork use this cork to make new furniture, and we receive money that we give to the center that protect the women against violence. This is the project we made this year in occasion of the Women Day, the International Women Day. This year we had a conference in Rome with the minister to promote some courses that are normally made in California, and with this course it's possible to divide the injury, the real something that is a real illegal against women, from the not police, come si dice, non troppo educate, not politically correct action against women. And in occasion of this day, the International Women's Day, we take picture and we post this picture, and it is very important for us to show to the social media visitors that women of wine are together, and they push all together in the same direction. This is the poster in which we collect the photos that we posted online. And this is the conference with which we finish the last year lessons in the School of Catering and Tourism courses in which we teach about wine. And this is in Vinitaly, that is the main conference of Italy about wine, in which we present the book in which we published the study about wine tourism and women that work in wine tourism, because the main part of the person that manage the wine hospitality in Italy are women. This is the book. We repeat the presentation also in Rome at the Parliament. And this is our convention. We made a great convention in Campania, in Naples. And I thank the Campania Women of Wine for the organization of this wonderful trip in their country, in their region. This is the actual action we are going to do. It is a charity to send money to a place in Ukraine in which they host children with disability or cancer, are children that can't leave from Ukraine and have to remain in Leopoli. And this is our news. We print 8 editions of our news each year. And this is the international version of our news. Now we are going to sign an agreement to make a networking, to do something together. And now I will try to explain what we are going to do together. This is the member and this logo of the different associations that will sign the agreement. First of all, we hope that in the future will be possible to visit the different associations and different wine country of the world, and we hope that the local Women of Wine Association help the single person or the foreign association that visit their wine regions. And just to visit or to stay for stage, for internship, or to have experiences. Communication. I hope that you will do as we do in Italy. In our yearbook, we have the information of the foreign association. I hope that for you will be possible to do the same in your website or in your yearbook. To write an article for the international newspaper. This one. We are interested in information about the wine production of your country, the weather of your country, the award, or, for example, this one. This is an important, very important award. And it's important to promote the women that win something, to do something. Also, we hope that you will take part in the International Women Day. Usually we promote all the month because the quantity of the women that took part in this project is so big that it's necessary to use 1 month of action. And I propose for you, for the next year, the theme Women, Wine in a Unit World. This is the proposal that we ask you to use in your action, because you know this year with the Ukraine war it's important to show that it's possible to do something together without division, to share something. And we think that the symbol of this year maybe is the globe. And the hashtag Woman of Wine for all of us, because if you use the same symbol, the same concept, and the same hashtag, it's possible to share and to have a big action all over the world. Of course, it is important in occasion of the International Women's Day to ship us the photos, the pictures of your members with the globe, a glass of wine, and the person in the picture, as we do in Italy. This is the 2 years ago symbol. At that time was a vine. You can see the members of our association with 1 vine and the same symbol for all. And I propose, this is a globe. This is maybe a nice picture that we can use. It's made by a Tuscan women of wine. As you see, you see women of different colors. They look in different direction, but they compose the same painting. Yes, the same puzzle. I ask you also to organize a wine tasting of a foreign association with a wine of a foreign association. If you, for example, maybe the Argentina association can ask to the German association to ship the wine and some information and organize a wine tasting of German wine in Argentina with the local sommelier. It's important because, of course, this action have to promote the knowledge of the foreign wines, and so it's important to involved in this action also the association, the sommelier association. And I thank you, and I hope that this little network that, as you can understand, is composed by activities that are not expensive, that each association can do, even if it's not big, even if it's not so rich, but each association can take part in this project. And I hope that this is the basement of a future in which we grow up a real networking between our association. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Donatella, for the very full explanation of the activities that have gone on and that are planned for the future. It's really exciting to see. Now our Italian representatives, Roberta, and Antonietta, are going to talk about the very important project that they have undertaken here in Italy, di Vino. Okay.
Grazie e benvenute e benvenuti a tutti. Sono Antonietta Mazzeo, ma lo vedete anche dal nome qui davanti. Allora, con una piccola premessa, il progetto di Vino e Cultura è un marchio registrato e appartiene all'Associazione Nazionale Donne del Vino. È nostro, è nato con noi e con noi continuerà a fare la formazione. Dunque, velocemente, visto i tempi molto stretti, di Vino e Cultura è il progetto didattico dedicato agli istituti per il turismo e alberghiero. Nasce dall'esigenza di educare gli studenti degli istituti della ristorazione per il turismo e i territori del vino. Introduce un metodo di apprendimento basato sull'esperienza pratica e sull'uso della tecnologia. Mette in contatto gli studenti con l'intera filiera del vino. Vigneti e cantine, ristoranti, enoteche, sommelier ed esperte della comunicazione e del marketing. Sommelier e tutte queste donne sono formate da professionisti di tutti questi settori. Aumenta le prospettive di lavoro dei futuri professionisti nel settore della ristorazione e del turismo. Aumenta la consapevolezza del consumo responsabile e trasforma i giovani in educatori per i loro coetanei con un effetto virale. Aumenta le prospettive di sviluppo dei distretti del vino e delle imprese che producono, somministrano e vendono vino, valorizzando l'offerta e la fruizione delle esperienze enoturistiche. Questa immagine parla da sola. È cultura, il vino è cultura, sono le nostre tradizioni, alimentazione per la mente e per il corpo. L'attuale scenario degli istituti della ristorazione. Alcuni istituti hanno già introdotto il vino come materia di studio nell'insegnamento, anche se il numero è spesso insufficiente per formare i giovani per le competenze richieste nel settore della ristorazione. Il vino rappresenta oggi circa 1/3 dei ricavi per i ristoranti, dove il prezzo di vendita del vino è di circa 2,5 il prezzo di acquisto sulla bottiglia e 5 volte il prezzo sul calice, quindi un guadagno molto importante per la ristorazione. In chiusura del mio tempo concesso, al termine dell'anno scolastico 21-22 abbiamo consegnato a tutti gli studenti un modulo di gradimento, un questionario di gradimento in forma anonima. Tutti gli studenti si sono, a nostra grande sorpresa, voluti anche firmare con il proprio nome e le proprie osservazioni per il progetto, tutte molto belle e molto positive. Da questo è scaturito anche una mia grandissima soddisfazione. 2 studentesse dell'Istituto Lazzaro Spallanzani di Modena, Castelfranco Emilia, Istituto Capofila Nazionale, hanno portato il progetto di Vino e Cultura per la loro maturità, l'esame di maturità. E da questo è nato anche l'idea di dare visibilità alle future generazioni, questi studenti delle scuole, sul Corriere Vinicolo con alcune interviste, cosa che abbiamo già iniziato a fare facendo proprio un'intervista diretta a queste 2 studentesse che hanno espresso grande positività verso il nostro progetto. Grazie e ora passo la parola all'Alberto Urso, Sicilia.
Allora, Emilia-Romagna, Sicilia e Piemonte sono state le 3 regioni, quindi le 3 delegazioni, dove il progetto di Vino ha iniziato la sperimentazione lo scorso anno scolastico e continuerà, ci apprestiamo a ricominciare quest'anno. Quindi non solo negli istituti alberghieri, e questa è un'altra immagine emblematica dei ragazzi che abbiamo scoperto straordinari e appassionati e quindi vogliosi di conoscere il nostro mondo, ma anche per i ragazzi, per gli studenti degli istituti per il turismo. Pensate un po' che in Italia proprio coloro i quali dovrebbero diventare futuri professionisti e quindi trovare sbocco professionale, soprattutto nell'enoturismo, che come sappiamo è uno dei volani dello sviluppo economico, studiano 66 ore all'anno di arte, storia, geografia, ben venga, ci sta, ma non hanno la benché minima idea di cosa sia il vino. E solo grazie ad alcuni presidi illuminati che hanno coinvolto associazioni, vedi l'AIS, per fare alcuni corsi di approfondimento, di conoscenza, ma per il resto il nulla più totale. Ecco che siamo quindi intervenute noi, anche perché ci sono dati importanti che vogliamo condividere. Ad esempio che i flussi turistici nel 2020, quindi in piena pandemia, i flussi enoturistici in Italia sono cresciuti del 55%. Abbiamo poi rilevato che in Italia ci sono circa 10.000 cantine turistiche, quindi che come noi produttrici hanno investito per avere una offerta turistica, per offrire esperienze, che hanno fatto fatica a trovare giovani soprattutto capaci di essere coinvolti nel servizio di accoglienza, di ospitalità, di degustazione. In media queste cantine oggi hanno 3,4 collaboratori, ma le potenzialità sono molto più grandi, quindi noi vogliamo far crescere questi ragazzi e avere nuovi professionisti. Nel 2019, prima della pandemia, in Italia ci sono stati 14 milioni di visitatori nelle cantine enoturistiche, quest'anno il dato è molto più alto, quindi ecco, un settore veramente che sta crescendo. Dove possono trovare sbocco lavorativo i ragazzi che noi stiamo formando? Sicuramente all'interno dei ristoranti, sia quelli che oggi prevedono un servizio di sommelier, sia quelli che oggi non ce l'hanno, ma proprio perché non trovano le professionalità giuste. All'interno dei wine shop, dei wine bar, nel naturalmente settore dell'enoturismo, ma per quanto riguarda soprattutto poi i ragazzi degli istituti enoturistici, anche nelle strade del vino o presso i tour operator, che sempre di più, come sappiamo, si stanno specializzando proprio nell'enoturismo, nella ricerca di esperienza. Sappiamo poi peraltro che anche molte aziende a vario titolo oggi scelgono le cantine per organizzare i loro meeting e concluderli proprio con delle degustazioni, quindi ancora di più è utile avere del personale che sia ben preparato e che conosca anche le lingue. Questa è una bellissima immagine, un picnic all'aria aperta. Sempre più vengono richiesti, come sappiamo, questo tipo di visite che culminano proprio nell'atmosfera da condividere, perché è bello condividere il vino laddove nasce. Come vedete, una giovane ragazza anche qui che si appresta a mescere il vino, l'abbiamo scelta perché è parecchio emblematica. E quindi sicuramente coinvolgere ragazzi ben formati porta vantaggi sia dal punto di vista economico, perché può aiutare a crescere anche i cosiddetti wine district, quindi le unioni dei comuni dove c'è una strada del vino ad esempio, o anche chiaramente crescere il business delle aziende che producono, distribuiscono e commercializzano il vino, ma coinvolgere giovani soprattutto che siano formati sul fatto che il vino è cultura aiuta ad accrescere la consapevolezza nei consumatori di che cos'è il vino, delle anche varietà, dei territori e soprattutto far capire bene concetti quale quello della sostenibilità che è fondamentale, socio-economica e ambientale. Non in ultimo, l'ultimo incontro con i ragazzi è chiaramente dedicato a un tema importante che è quello del bere consapevole e responsabile, perché appunto vino è cultura. Grazie, passo la parola a Roberta.
Bene, cominciamo proprio io voglio proprio cominciare con un'immagine, l'immagine del bicchiere, ma non è un bicchiere in mano a una persona qualunque, è un bicchiere in mano a un giovane. Noi vogliamo fare in modo che i giovani si avvicinino al vino e si avvicinino, come ha detto Roberta, in modo consapevole e responsabile. Quindi noi abbiamo cominciato a fare degli incontri con i ragazzi, ecco, li voglio chiamare incontri e non lezioni. Io insegno, ma non voglio essere una professoressa quando vado a fare questi incontri, perché sono le nostre esperienze personali, delle produttrici, delle notecarie, di tutte le socie, delle sommelier, di tutte le socie che ci sono nell'Associazione delle Donne del Vino, che vengono portate in classe e a volte anche fuori dalla classe, diciamola tutta, perché poi qualche volta si riesce anche a portarli direttamente in cantina. Come avvengono gli incontri? Sempre con la compresenza del docente delle ore prestabilite. Adesso vi faccio ridere, in un nostro incontro io avevo 5 insegnanti, perché si è sparsa la voce, erano interessati anche loro e sono arrivati più di quelli che dovevano essere. Quindi sempre con la compresenza del docente. Viene sempre portato il vino della zona, quindi le produttrici che collaborano portano il vino perché i ragazzi devono conoscere i vini della loro zona. Il risultato che poi avremo alla fine degli incontri viene comunque sempre valutato di comune accordo tra la scuola e le donne del vino. Tutti i nostri incontri sono gratuiti. Abbiamo percorso tanti chilometri, abbiamo iniziato in 3 regioni come start-up e abbiamo fatto tanti chilometri a nostre spese, perché vuole essere proprio una promozione. Noi non vogliamo che sia un obbligo per nessuno. Ci sono le nostre socie che vengono volentieri a fare questi incontri a loro spese, è tutto gratuito. Il vino che portiamo non lo facciamo ovviamente pagare alle scuole e abbiamo cominciato con l'anno scolastico scorso, continuiamo quest'anno e poi vediamo se riusciamo a convincere le altre sfere che l'enoturismo e tutta la filiera del vino deve essere fatta conoscere ai ragazzi che vanno a scuola e quindi riuscire a far sì che l'enogastronomia entri di diritto nelle materie scolastiche. Qual è il metodo che abbiamo adottato? È questo: mettersi vicino ai ragazzi, portare l'esperienza di chi vive sul campo, tutta la filiera del vino. Quindi illustrare le cantine, i vigneti, parlare di marketing. Molte volte non viene assolutamente affrontato il marketing neanche nelle scuole alberghiere. Comunicazione e anche la lingua, una lingua tecnica, proprio per parlare tutti e capirci tutti parlando la stessa identica lingua. E poi la cosa forse che appassiona di più i ragazzi è la degustazione. Tutti gli incontri finiscono con la degustazione dei vini. Se i ragazzi sono maggiorenni possono fare il visivo, l'olfattivo e il gusto olfattivo. Se i ragazzi sono minorenni, loro insieme a noi visivo e olfattivo. Noi dall'altra parte gli illustriamo il gusto olfattivo. È stato un peccato, a me è capitato una classe che erano purtroppo minorenni. Sono anche stati bravi, non hanno provato a bere, perché comunque hanno capito qual era lo scopo del nostro incontro. E a proposito di questo, una foto dei ragazzi. Questa è una foto dei ragazzi che appunto assaggiano, degustano e imparano a conoscere il vino. E per ultima cosa volevo fare un attimo due conti. Ottimi risultati, tantissimi partecipanti. L'anno scorso eravamo solo 3 regioni, abbiamo studiato il format in pieno Covid, eravamo sempre su Zoom noi 3, L'anno scorso sono stati relativamente pochi ragazzi, 500 circa, però li vogliamo far crescere e quest'anno tutte le regioni tutte le regioni partecipano al progetto che quindi viene portato su tutto il territorio nazionale, viene portato alle scuole alberghiere, agli istituti turistici. Io voglio ringraziare le mie colleghe perché è stata una bellissima esperienza mettere insieme tante teste tanto lontane, soprattutto in un momento, quello del Covid, dove eravamo chiusi in casa, è stato proprio un grandissimo piacere.
Grazie.
Io voglio ringraziare tutti e anche voi che ci siete stati a sentire.
Grazie alle nostre donne del vino, Roberta, Antonietta, mi piace dire i loro nomi così. And now we're going to pass on to the international part, even more international part of our international afternoon. And I'm going to call up the representatives from Argentina. So, bienvenidas. We have Cristina Pandolfi and Noemi Fatme. Fatima Villagra. Ecco. So, our two friends from Argentina who will speak to us now. First of all, prima di tutto.
We want to give this present. Andate su, andate acá adelante. Present. We want to, Donatella, we want to give you and all the donne del vino for remember this meeting, and thanks you and all donne del vino to make possible this meeting where so many interesting women in wine from many countries are here to work together. Thank you, Donatella. This is for l'ufficio delle donne.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a wine drop. Wine drop.
So now we will hear from the Asociación Mujeres del Vino de Argentina. There you go.
How can I?
This goes forward.
Okay.
Okay?
With this?
As you prefer. That's fine. With this, good. You prefer this? You can hold it close to your mouth.
No, it's the same.
Okay.
Well, I apologize because my English is not good, but I'm very glad, Fatima and we are very glad and honored to be invited here today. Well, Donatella and Paola asked us to speak about 3 points, 3 main points. The first one is how is our association, the current activities and future outlook. Well, AMUVA is the name of our association. It's a non-profit civil association integrated by one enthusiastic woman whose main purpose is to create an environment, cultural, professional, and social, about wine industry in order to create this environment for mutual collaboration and enrichment. AMUVA was created in 2013, and now we are 77 members women members. Several of them belong to the wine sector. We have enologists, engineers, architects that design wineries, but many others have different professions and occupation difference. But all of them, the commune of all of us is that we are passionate about wine. Amuba has the following main objective: to enhance its members' knowledge about wine and its culture and other related matters, to enhance the role and development of women in viticulture center. This is very important for us, to contribute to the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, especially those related to women, to make social responsibility actions, and to promote moderate and responsible consumption, among others. Well, our current activities, we do visits to wineries and to vineyards, but with technical visits. We are received by the enologist and the engineer in order that our members to know more about grape varieties, soils, system to protect our vineyards from frost or hail. In the wineries, we made tasting of wine directed by the enologist. We have made a harmonization of wine and gastronomy, meeting or talks on different topics. At the end of this visit, we made a lunch, a social lunch, where our members can to enjoy food and wine. It's important, the last action, because in the framework of the International Day of Women, we distinguish some outstanding women of Mendoza. More or less 6 to 8 women of this province each year. Well, what is our future outlook? Well, to continue with that actions and to continue to distinguish women, that is a very important celebration for us. And this is important, the fourth point, to continue our collaborative work with Los Andes newspaper. This is the main newspaper in our province that has also a online version, and our members write articles about different aspects about wine, and these are published in a section that this newspaper dedicated to wine. And also the newspaper disseminates our activities. This enhances the Amuba's image. The other point is very important because last Friday we signed with the Minister of Culture and Tourism of Mendoza an agreement to work in collaboration to do some activities to promote wine consumption and enotourism. This for the next year. Well, and now we are looking for to do some activities in our net. Well, which we think to propose you. Well, exchange information. We want to explore in collaborative to contribute to the goals, SDG from United Nations, especially that objectives directly related to women, responsible consumption and production, the objective to achieve equality for women in the wine sector, and care of the environment and water. The organization of tasting that told us Donatella, we agree with that, and promote technical internship and student exchanges, for example. Well, the second point, the wine market and the post-COVID situation in the wine business. Well, very quickly, now I'm going to pass through some diapositives in order to meet the allotted time. But you will have the presentation later. Our viticulture is an oasis viticulture because the vineyards are located nearly the rivers that bring the water from the snow of the mountains, of the Andes Mountains. The more important region is, and the traditional region in Argentina, is located at the west side of our country. This is very desert region. The precipitation is 100 to 300 millimeters, so we depend mandatory from water, irrigation of our vineyards. But the like consequence of the climate change and to search new terroirs, our viticulture are expanding their borders. In altitude, for example, we have vineyards in Jujuy more than 3,000 meters over the sea level. In Mendoza, more than 1,300 meters. And in latitude, we have in the south, in the 46 degrees south, in the province of Chubut, there is a big winery there. And also they are planting vineyards in the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Different terroirs, different possibilities, different type of wine. Well, this I'm going to pass very quickly. Numbers, you can see them later. Well, the post-COVID situation. During 2020, this activity was not so affected because it was considered essential activity. So it was exempt from the quarantine lockdown regulations. On the other hand, because wine consumption in the domestic market increased 6.5% compared to 2019, because everybody was at their homes. Everybody practiced to cooking and everybody to cook, and everybody drinking wine. So the consumption increased in the domestic market. But then in the 2021, the wine activity in the first and second quarter have a negative variations, not so big, but negative. And in the third quarter, a very light improvement of 0.4%. Well, the main aspect that our viticulture has now to face. The people demand quality and traceability. It is necessary to protect the consumers and the environment. There is a global supply, more and more diversified and competitive. The climate change is a reality. we have just in this moment the increase of temperature and long periods of drought. Mendoza has 12 years of drought. That is very important to work and to research about improve the efficiency to use the water because it's a very, very scarce resource. It's important to remark the great growing of wine tourism. We have a very important adverse situation that is the economic situation of our country and the adverse climate factors, early and late frost. For example, last week we have 2 days frost, very, very important, 6 hours of air and 6 degrees that cause very, very great loss of about 100% in some regions. Well, the third point. Yes. Well, we are going to pass this, like it says before Roberta. In Mendoza, we have 185 wineries open to tourism. And this improve in wine tourism, make the need and improve the interest to train people in this matter, in wine and its culture and every aspect, related aspects. Well, how do we do in Argentina? We finish with this. In Argentina, wine and its culture is studied at all levels, education levels. For example, we have technical careers, especially for wine, enology, viticulture, and enology at university level. Sommelier schools, gastronomy schools, many courses of sensory analysis and wine tourism, etc. Also, they gave basic notions in primary and secondary schools. For example, this is a book published by an institute called Fondo Vitivinicola that promote domestic consumption that is prepared for schools, primary and secondary schools. Well, and the other more or less estimated the incomes from enotourism about $100 million in a year. Well, this is some photograph of our activities, and thanks very much.
Thank you. At the end of each of our speakers, they will sign the agreement and take a copy of the agreement home. But I'm going to call on our friends from Australia, Jane Thompson and Corina Wright, who are the founder and an enologist in the Fabulous Ladies Wine Society. I think we all want to be members of that because we all want to be fabulous ladies along with you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Where should we stand? You can stand there if you stand. Yeah. We'll just share a microphone, or yeah. Do we need to press? No, we don't need to talk at the same time. Don't press one. We need to press the button. No. They'll do it for us. Yeah. Well, yeah. Tell me what you want to do. Okay.
Ciao a tutti. It's fantastic to be here. My name is Jane. I'm with my wonderful colleague, Corina. And that's right, I run the Fabulous Ladies Wine Society all the way down in Australia. We say all the way down, but really, the globe is a globe. And if you've ever held a ball, you know there is no up or down. So sometimes we like to think we're actually on top of the wine world every now and then. The Fabulous Ladies Wine Society is a group for female wine consumers. We have a membership of about 15,000 wine drinkers around Australia who are all women. And we work very closely with Australian female wine producers, and we introduce each to each other. So the work that we do is for wine consumers with the Fabulous Ladies Wine Society. But in 2015, we started Australian Women in Wine to support the female wine producers that we'd been working with. And now, 7 years later, we are Australian Women in Wine as well. And so I'm here today with Karina, who represents the board of producers we have together to help run that. Yes, slides. We've been around for 7 years as Australian Women in Wine, and this year it was very much an honour to win a huge prize for the first time in Australia, and it's the first time the entire Australian industry has actually recognised our work, and I'm going to let Karina tell you about that.
We were very excited this year. Australian Women in Wine Awards was awarded an inaugural award. There's a very famous winemaker in Australia called Maurice O'Shea from the early 1900s, and he an award has been presented each year in his honour. This year, though, they decided to also award not only someone who has historically been doing a lot of work and had a long career in wine, but someone who is actually physically doing the work right now. And, everyone was very thankful to receive such a massive award. And it was a real recognition that diversity and equality is still very important and needs to be on the table for all of us. So we got to frock up and get an award, which was pretty good.
So a quick timeline of our actions and what we've been up to in the last 7 years. We started in 2015, and our course of action in promoting gender equality in Australian wine is to actually do an awards program. So we run the Australian Women in Wine Awards. It's the first and still the only awards program for women in the world, in the wine industry. So we recognise up to 8 different categories each year, from winemaking through to marketing, through to those who are managing the wineries and cellar door tourism experiences. And it's still the only awards program of its type in the world. In 2017 and in 2019, we were sponsored and partnered by our national organisation called Wine Australia, and we took those awards to London in 2017 and New York in 2019. Can you imagine 70 Australian wine women on an aeroplane heading over to New York? It was fantastic. We took over the town. We really did have a fantastic time celebrating and promoting Australian Women in Wine globally. And then, of course, COVID hit.
So one of the other things that we've been really proud of working on in Australia, we have a very robust wine show system in which producers enter all of their wines, and they are judged by wine judges, and medals and trophies awarded. It was traditionally a very male-dominated space. There were very rarely any women judges, and this was not acceptable. So we decided to create a listing of all female judges, and have also managed to make sure that all of now the national wine shows are doing 50-50% male and female judging representation. So that's been a really big win for us.
And that is huge. I don't know what it's like in your individual countries, but representation on wine shows was abysmal in Australia until recently. So that's been a huge success for us. This DEIW charter, it's a diversity and equality in wine charter. So thanks to the work that we'd been doing since 2015, we finally got some attention from the rest of the industry. And they agreed to start to formulate a policy that wineries could sign up to. At the moment, it is still voluntary to do so, but more than 600 wineries have signed this diversity and equality in wine protocol to help guide them as to what is okay and not okay in their own wineries, from everything from hiring policies to workplace on-site policies. It's a very simple one-page document, which we'd be happy to share with you. It's publicly available, and it just requires you to sign up and agree on some pretty major issues that will be important for your winery to promote diversity.
One of our other most favourite projects is a project called Hear Me Roar. So those of you who know the Helen Reddy song, Hear Me Roar, we made 4 winemakers got together, myself and a couple of others. We each donated a barrel of Shiraz and blended a really great Shiraz. We labelled it under the Hear Me Roar label, and then we sold that wine off. All of the profits, which was about $40,000, was then given out to women for scholarships. So they were able to do tasting training, they were able to do mentorship training and business training, and it was a really great success.
Because raising money has been very important. We receive no funding, no membership fees, nothing in Australia. So we have to raise all our own money to try and push the gender equality card forward. So that's been a big thing to do. It had been a couple of years since we did the Shiraz, and so this year we've done Hear Me Roar, the gin. Because if you work in wine, we know you drink gin, right? Especially in Australia. So we've created Hear Me Roar, the gin. That's on sale right now. And if you don't already know the song I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar by Helen Reddy, she was Australian, by the way.
So COVID, we were asked to talk about what's happened, COVID disruption. Australia, we've only just been allowed out. You are our first international visit, so our borders have been very locked down. We also, not only did we have our total border lockdown, we also had the individual state borders locked down. So things have been pretty interesting for a while. We haven't been able to do any events, and we had to do things online or see each other. That's right, yeah. So as a result, we had to close down the awards for a couple of years, but we're hoping that we can get that back up and going next year.
So that is the summary from On Top of the World in Australia. And we're really looking forward to working with your other international organisations because, again, I'm not sure how much progress has been made in the last 7 years with our work. We know we have done quite a lot, but it's very hard to measure. And so it's great to be able to work and talk with other countries and create some baselines from which we can go to our own country and say, here's what's happening here. This is what we need to do. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Australia.
This is just a representation of our action. We like to call ourselves an action board instead of an advisory board. And yeah, you can contact us all. There's our contacts. And I also want to personally thank the La Donne del Vino from Campania and La Donne del Vino. I was hosted in Campania this week. It's been amazing. Incredible. You guys, incredible. I'm really thankful. Cheers.
Thank you so much for that great presentation. We're going in alphabetical order. We've actually made it out of A. We're going to Chile now. So from one continent to another, we're bouncing across the globe. And I want to welcome Claudia, yes, who will speak to, and Patricia? No. Okay. Only Claudia. Okay. Thank you. And I turn, yes, that's it. I turn over the floor.
Yes. Doesn't work. But it doesn't work. Could you have another one?
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, my name is Claudia Gacitua. I'm representing today Move Chile. And first of all, I want to present to you our members here. We travel a lot to get here. So we have Nadia Parra, our president, Marta Villegas, part of our board and in charge of the social service. Cecilia Alarcón, he's our European representative. Patricia Roca is representing all the winemakers in Chile. And me, Claudia Gacitua, Vice President of MOVE. First of all, I want to tell you a story. And what began as a dream among 7 women who didn't know each other, today is a reality with more than 150 women throughout Chile and the world. So we are very proud of that. Wine Women Association of Chile was born in 2019 as a non-profit women's association with the objective to generate work alliances, taking action to promote wine culture, and also to pass on the knowledge to future generations. I'm very proud to tell you that we embrace diversity. Our members are professional women who work in the wine sector, who work or have an academic background related to wine, service, tourism, communications, marketing, or gastronomy. And we have teachers, designers, artists, researchers, translators that work in the wine sector. Here we have some of our members. We are very proud to share with you the work that they are doing, and we believe in the collaborative work. So they are, all of them, they are very special for us. We have a lot of goals and objectives, and these are our most important. First of all, establish a professional platform for women in the wine sector, promoting equal working conditions. For us, is a very important thing. Designed an action plan to promote the development of territorial projects. Wine education, of course, to promote the responsible and conscientious wine consumption in Chile. And, of course, to connect producers and consumers through our cultural activities. For achieve those goals and objectives, we work through 4 committees: social, UVA, regional, and communication. Social give us economical support for all our women in need, and also a social service for the community. UVA, Unidas Vamos, or we go together, and we give a support with a gender approach, so it's very interesting, and we have a lot to work to do. Regional, that connects all the territories all along Chile, and communication, make visible the role of women in wine, and research about who we are. We have carried out many activities. We promote wine culture, we provide professional tools to our members, we make visible the work that we are doing through alliances with the media and MOVE social media also. We research about the professional reality of our community and generate meetings, of course, to share our experiences. For us, it is very important to connect with our environment, so a large part of our activities are related to wine culture, are open to the community. And we want to tell you, I think that it's very special for us, that 2 weeks ago, it was announced the Maria Denisa Award to highlight women who have made a contribution to the wine world. This award was born from the historical research of one of the first women linked to wine production in Chile, in Santiago del Nuevo Extremo, on the 16th century, and hoping we can meet many more women. We are very proud of that project. And of course, we are very preoccupied about our current situation, because it has been a priority for MOVE to know the situation of women who work in different areas of wine industry in Chile. For this, we have generated the first Woman of Wine in Chile survey, and the 2022 was our 2nd year. How were the women of wine in Chile? We didn't know, nothing about that. So the focus on this survey is on 5 areas of interest, which allow us to identify the needs and the realities of women in wine. We decided to study the profile of wine women in Chile. We didn't know where they are, where they are working, how old are they. And of course, study the current context and its perception, the employment and professional situation, what they think about associativity and gender, and the perception about the future, but not only the professional future, only the personal and emotional situation. And we found a lot very interesting results, and if you are interested in know more about that, we can share with you all the interesting results that we have. And 45% of wine women in Chile have seen their income reduced in recent months. 50% of wine women in Chile has felt out of place, discriminated, or minimized in her workplace just because being a woman. And only 13 of wine women in Chile have an executive position in their workplace. So we have a lot of work to do. We need also, if you have any information about your countries, about the situation of your woman, it would be very interesting to share with us your results. And if you want to know more about this survey, please let us know. And how is the wine market in Chile? Well, wine market, the international export in 2021, they increased 2.9% in volume and 8% in value in relation to 2020. In the export on 2022, in this 9 months, it increased also 3.2% in volume and 2.7% in value. We know that the trend has always been up or stable those years, but throughout this period has never been down either at the sales or the production level. And what is happening with wine education in Chile? We have a very big challenge there. We know that we must learn about what you are doing now. And we found that institutions dedicated to wine education, both at the university and technical levels, have focused on the product itself, often leaving aside the cultural and historical part. Likewise, there is a recent interest in including the relationship between wine and gastronomy in the educational programs. All that at the university and technical levels, of course. Both schools of gastronomy and tourism today begin to reinforce the notions of food and wine pairing and culture, but only now, a few years ago. Currently, the sommeliers of Chile in its training have courses in heritage, gastronomy, techniques, and products focuses on wine and pairing. However, in the enology degree, this connection between food, wine, and culture is not part of the program. And there is still a lot to do, but first with our kids, we know that. We have an absolutely absence of wine culture education programs in the school curriculums. The promotion of wine or other alcoholic beverage to minors is prohibited, so the promotion of responsible consumption focuses on prohibition, not education. In Chile, wine is not considered as food. I'm very sorry to say that, but it's a reality. So we need to take actions now. We have a lot of work to do in this matter. And we have our MOVE collaboration proposal for 2023, and we cross our fingers. Nothing happened this year. But this year, as a part of our collaboration, Evo Chile, a boutique winery in Chile, focused on innovation in wine and olive oil, invite 2 professionals of Le Donne del Vino for a future vintage. For us, it's very important this collaboratory work. So we will be very happy if we can make it possible next year. And thank you very much, and we are waiting for you in Chile.
We're coming, don't worry, I told her. So, thank you so much. And we're looking now back to Europe, to Croatia. You'll be signing and getting your... We're going to Croatia now with the WOW Association. And here we are.
Thank you very much. So, hello everybody. My name is Sanja Muzaferia, but forget about the last name. And I'm the president and the founder of Women on Wine Croatia. It's a rather different association than all the others because it sort of mixes and puts together all the women who are interested in wine. I myself am a journalist, and I always liked the wine, and my family liked the wine, so in my house there was always a big issue. What are we going to drink? So what wine are we going to drink? And so I have lawyers, doctors, wine producers, sommeliers, wine bar owners, restaurateurs, and so on in my association. We exist for 11 years now, so we are very happy and proud. I'm actually proud that we exist, you know, because it's very sometimes difficult to put together such a diverse bunch of women. Okay, so we will have our 12th birthday in August of 2023, and you are all welcome. We have two major projects in WOW, one being WOW Awards, which I tried to do, because you know how it was in the beginning. All the men from the wine industry and wine business said, oh, what is this bunch of women following Sanja? She's a journalist, and they just go out and have drinks. And I wanted to make this association serious enough to be considered, and I think I have managed to sort of really create a brand. So our Grand Prix is in 3 levels. First of all, one sommelier makes a list. All women on wine get a chance to vote by mail. And then we have the finalists. So the second level is the second step, so to say, is the finalists. And then the 3 women, very experienced in wine, have blind tasting, and we have the overall winner of every year. It's not only women winemakers, it's all wines. It's 5 categories: white, rosé, red, sparkling, and dessert wine. And the overall winner goes on a trip. We don't give him just a diploma, oh good, very well done, but we take the winemaker to a wine region in the world. So we went to Tuscany, Bordeaux, Burgundy, Hungary, Austria, Spain, Penedès. This year we have our winner with us, so her prize is to be here with us. Tina, please stand up and say hello to everybody. It's this year's winner. Her wine is exquisite, and she didn't bring any. But, you know, it's very difficult on the plane. So our second big project is Pink Day, which is a festival of rosé wine, only rosé wine. And it's been going on for 10 years now. So this year, next year, 2023, you're again all invited, especially the producers of rosé, especially the producers from the region where we went on the trip yesterday, and also the producers from Apulia. But everybody, we had exhibitors from, of course, Croatia, Slovenia, Italy, Spain, Austria, and our partner country, Heidi, I don't know, where are you? Our partner country was Austria 2 years ago. This is the first time that we had partner. Weinmarkt paid for the exhibitors to come. We had maybe 10 or 12 exhibitors from Austria with very nice rosés. Okay, a Pink Day is always in a museum because it's a female festival. People come, I mean, women and men come. Everybody's allowed to come with a little bit of pink, something, you know, like I'm having today, something, a detail that is pink. And it's, of course, a celebration of female energy, of rosé wine, of female wine makers, of also spring, optimism, joy of life, and positive energy. We have started it in 2013 on the 8th of March. So, yeah, International Women's Day. But not every year it is Saturday. So we moved it around a little bit, and we skipped 1 year because of the COVID. We also have a small part which is called Green in Pink, and it's dedicated completely to olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. We have workshops, rosé wines, olive oil workshops, round tables about winemakers, about female winemakers and sommeliers and wine bar owners. So it's very, very interesting. It's only 1 day, but it's very full day. It's on the 15th of April to 20th, 23. It's Saturday, and you're welcome. We had also done 5 charities until now. So every second year, we do a charity event to raise the money for different causes. One was for autonomous female house in Zagreb, victims of domestic violence. One was for intraoperative radiation device that facilitates recovery after breast cancer operation. One was for scholarships for excellence for students, female students in need. And one was called Pink Day Helps Endangered Families for Impoverished Families. And that ended on the 5th Pink Day with the gala dinner. Okay, enough of the Pink Day project. I will now move to, so we are 200. I forgot to say that I now have 200 members in Croatia, which is quite a lot for a country of 4 million people. And I think it's growing, and it's growing. And I would really love to have partner country Italy for the next Pink Day, if possible. I'll talk to Donatella later, because that would be excellent and great and quite an honor. Education, just a short. 3 years ago here, I was very long, so this year I'm trying to make it short. Education. In Croatia, there are 2 main or most important and respectable sommeliers education programs. One is called ASSI, Associazione della Sommelier Internationale. It is present in more than 70 countries and is also present in Croatia since 1994. And then the other one is WSET. That's the highest level of WSET is Master of Wine. But this education, as you maybe know, WSET does not include service education. It's only about wine. And I would like to mention one woman who is also a member of WOW, of course. Her name is Jelena. And she is the owner of a small wine bar in the center of Zagreb. And she is a real wine educator herself. She has done, I don't know, I have this number, yeah. She has had more than 70,000 people attending with more than 1,000 wine workshops of different levels since 2017. So I think she deserves an applause, although she's not here. Bravo, Jelena. She's doing it single-handedly. Of course, ASSI, ACI, and WSET, it exists and it educates, and we have educations. It all should be more, and we should do better than that, but that's how it is at the moment. And last but not least, about market. What happened due to COVID-19? The year 2020 was exceptional year in Croatia in more senses than one, but not in a good way, just like in the most other wine-producing countries. It was far from good year for wine production. With anti-COVID-19 measures, mostly restrictions were applied for the restaurants, wine bar, coffee shops. It seemed like at one moment, like everybody stopped drinking or talking about wine, and then it started to change because people drank at home, yeah, but not so much outside of their homes, but at home. And they were also educated by different Zoom meetings and seminars and workshops. I myself learned quite a bit during the COVID because I was at home and didn't have time to go to all the events and all the, I don't know, journalistic engagements, but I was at home and I listened a lot to wine schools over Zoom. So I have some data. The data provided by the Croatian Agency for Agriculture and Food, Center for Viticulture, Wine and Oil Production. Overall quantity of wine on the market in the year 2020 was 494.697 hectoliters, but it was a significant decrease of 11% compared to the previous year, 2019. The decrease would have probably been even more significant without the help from some state institutions like the National Aid Program for the wine sector. The wine export in the year 2020 decreased by 34% compared to the previous year, while the import decreased slightly by mere 1.35 compared to the year 2019. So it means that, you know, people still drank and the import was okay. And in the year 2021, as the result of the lighter anti-COVID measures and very good tourist season considering, yeah, the wine market shows certain increase in both wine demand and sales. When it comes to the quantities, the increase on the wine market was 3%. Wine export increased by 24%, while the import increased by 12.5% compared to the previous year. And for the end, an important data is when it comes to the gender of the wine producers, winemakers, according to the data that I got for the year 2021, 14% of the wine producers in Croatia were women, which is not so bad. And it is 188 women, because altogether we have 1,364 winemakers in Croatia. So this is not so bad. And I thank you very much. I would like to thank Donatella, who was my dear guest a few years back in Zagreb, and I hope she will come again, even though she's a nonna now. And I invite everybody to come over. Croatia is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanja. And we're going to, I have to apologize. I skipped over Austria. Heidi, will you forgive me? Please come and speak to us about Austria. How do you say 11? Frauen? How do you say 11? Elf Frauen und ihre Weine. Yeah.
No. Let me squeeze in between C and G. No problem. So Austria comes again, you know, I'm from the analog generation, and we come again without the PowerPoint, so look at me. Ciao a tutti, and thanks for this wonderful returning invitation to this super nice event where women worldwide meet. And yesterday we had this wonderful experience of Lugana, getting to know Lugana. I only knew the wine from, you know, drinking it at wine bars in Austria or Germany, and so we really saw where it all starts. And in the evening, we had a little small wine tasting of the wines all the winemakers, or some of the winemakers, brought to Milano. Today I read something which really made me very proud to be a woman in wine. Robert Parker, every year he grants the Green Emblem to some wineries, some wine estates for their work, for sustainable social work. And it's 2 female winemakers in Italy, Chiara Boschis and Arianna Occhipinti from Sicily, who were granted it. Applause. Current activities and future outlook. Thank you, Donatella, for these 3 questions. You see, all of us really made our homework. 11 women and their wines. This is the group which I represent, and 11 was the number of winemakers, of women, female winemakers in the vineyards and in the cellars in the year 2000, so 22 years ago. And of course, things have massively changed, and we are the association is in a transition. So we want to open up, because lots of young women joined their maybe parents or made career changes into the wine industry. And so we open up, of course, we skip the number 11 and will change into a whole of Austria women in wine without any number. And I think we have a potential of about 100 women, and maybe it's much more, but at least the potential of 100. And you know, especially the organic and biodynamic wine industry is very, very much dominated in Austria by female winemakers. Yeah, and for the future, thank you, Nikki, for all this program from New Zealand last time, because I think this mentoring program, older ones, helping younger ones in the wine industry, I think it's a wonderful idea of sharing experience and getting new energy back from the young women, being new. Yeah, the second theme was the wine world in the post-COVID industry. And I interviewed 2 women in wine, which are, wine merchants. And Katharina Wolf is running one of Austria's fine wine trade houses. She carries lots of wonderful Burgundy wines and champagnes, and also very fine Austrian wines, German wines. And it is based on the lovely Attersee, if you maybe know, near Salzburg. And she says the following: generally, the private consumer spends more money on fine wines than before. She thinks that people enjoy cooking and drinking wine, as all my 4 speakers said, wine and champagne at home. Restaurants sent bigger orders, but maybe because their wine cellars were empty. And the market for middle class and high-end wines has increased. The basic wines decreased, at least at their wine house. And for the winter, of course, she hopes, because the main wine market, or one main wine market, is in the west of Austria, in the skiing areas. And she really hopes that this year we will not have any lockdown, and people can come for skiing and snow fun and drink wine in the evening. And very interesting, another lady, Madeleine Dosch, she's Swiss-born and raised, opened a wine shop in Vienna, only with wine from women. And she opened it in 2020, in the middle of in the middle of the crisis, and she really did a wonderful job. She's fully energetic. She does 1 wine tasting every single week. Lots of people, she's in a very poshy Bobo area in Vienna. Lots of people are very interested in wine, and they come every week to wine tasting from Madeleine. And she, when I asked her why she concentrated on wine of women, she said she always liked niches, and she doesn't want to have a competition between men and women, but the wine is the major thing in everything she is doing. And her wine shop, if you want to see it or if you want to contact her, is called Vino. So Vino. And she got, of course, a lot of attention from Austrian newspapers and magazines. And yeah, my small wine estate has also made a transition during COVID. It turned from a one-woman show to a mother and son's company, because I have twin sons and both of them are working with me. So not only Donne del Vino, but yeah. During COVID, we did a lot of Zoom, and all of you know of that, of course. And I also learned a lot, Sanja, but it was kind of how you can reach and how you can create atmosphere also by digital tasting on the screen. Yeah, and schools and wine teaching in Austria. It is very important because, you know, Austria is a super touristic country. It's not only the skiing areas in the west, but it's Vienna, it's Salzburg, it's the Carinthia with all these wonderful lakes, and of course the wine areas in the east. So we are very lucky to have 27 schools in Austria where they teach tourism and hotel management, and you know, all these kids coming out of the school, they are cooks, they are servers, they have a degree, and of course I called one of these teachers how this whole wine education is held up, and he told me that kids can enter the schools at the age of 14, so quite early, and finish school after 4 or 5 years. It depends on the school. And they're having a lot of internships in cooking and serving during that. They have the opportunity of a training for Austria Jungsommelier. This is a kind of title for a sommelier, and they cover every aspect of beverages, starting, you know, with 14, with non-alcoholic ones. They make milk and water and fruit juices and coffee and tea. They have 3 to 4 hours a week, and then they get all knowledge of wines and sparklings and spirits throughout the world. So they really can manage a wine program of a restaurant after finishing school. And I also want to mention and many of our, you know, we have a lot of famous Austrian somm exports in all over the world. And by example, Aldo Somm from Le Bernardin in Manhattan, he also went through one of these school programs. And I also want to mention the program of the Austrian Wine Academy. It is based in my hometown in Rust, and it is affiliated to the WSET program in London. So every year we have about 17 Masters of Wine of all over the world as a guest here in the Wine Academy in Rust. And they also train the teachers of these 27 tourist schools. So once a year, they have a big congress where all these teachers come together and they brush up their knowledge. They tell them what is new in Austria, what is new in the world. They always go on, have master classes, and they go always in wine areas to teach them. Yeah, and I want to round up this Austrian part, you know, with the motto. I know you liked it last time, so I read it again. And maybe for some it's new. We do not drive the tractor, we women. We do not drive the tractor in another way like men. The work in the cellar is exactly the same as for our male colleagues. And some of our wines are built in a way you would call masculine. Women do not cut the grapes from the wine more precise than men, and they do not make the wine neither more enthusiastic nor more cautious than men would do. But when women make these wines, these are often wines that men would like to make. So, viva la donna, viva il vino, viva la vita e viva l'amore.
Thank you, Heidi. That was great. Thank you for your presentation. We're going to move to France. We're staying in Europe. And I would ask our femme de vin. Yeah, la Francia. France. Yeah, la France. Vive la France. Our femme de vin, Mélanie and Aurélie. Bienvenue.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Right. Perfect. Hi, everybody. So I'm Mélanie from Alsace, and Aurélie comes from Provence. I'm the president, and Aurélie will be the president next year. That's why I wanted to introduce her to you. We're really happy to be here after 3 years, and I'll explain you a bit how our association works and our goals and projects. So, first of all, the history of the association. Our association is quite recent. We were created in 2009, and we're an association of 10 different regions in France. On the contrary of the Donne del Vino, we have different names because some associations have been created pretty early, like Aliénor de Bordeaux in '94. And in between, different regions were created. The last one for our association was Les Dames de Cœur de Loire, and that was in 2016. So we all have different constitutions. That means in some associations they only promote women who working in production, like in Burgundy. In other regions, they also have women working in gastronomy. It really depends on. Altogether, so that's our different logos, and our national logo. You saw it here. You only see it here. Nationally, we have different goals, and it's pretty like the goals that we saw already on some of your associations. So the biggest goal, of course, is to create a network between us to promote the culture of wine and to enhance the education on different levels in school. So, how we work? You saw the 10 associations. We have two person on board. That makes 20 people from all the regions. We have meetings per Skype, and we of course developed that on Zoom now during the COVID times. We have a small fee. We didn't talk about that with your different regions. We only asked for 20 euros per member with a small annual budget. That's why when we organize something, we have to find sponsors. And we communicate together through emails, of course, but also through social medias. Having seen our locations throughout France, it makes events not that frequent because everything has an inertia, everything is longer to create. So the biggest event we have every year is our general meeting, of course. And in that case, 2022, we were in Sancerre, in Loire. And that was after 2 years, of course, of COVID. COVID period was pretty tough, like in all your countries. During those 2 years, we did no fee for our members, and we also did like our General Assembly per Zoom, which was, of course, less fun. You can imagine. Oops. No more presentation. Okay. So next points were. Good, perfect. So you'll see how we have fun in the vineyards. And that was in Sancerre, in old houses, like we have. We have common projects together. Of course, we try to organize tastings to show the diversity of France to professional people. That was let in standby during those years, you can imagine. We also had a booth at Provine Wine Fair. And the main things is that the different associations have different initiatives, of course, and we try to get transversal projects from nice regional things. Oh, merde. That's me. Okay. Voilà. There. I understand now yeah. So, regional initiatives. I told you about education. That's a big point. And every region, from their own, started to do that. And from really little kids to students, we try to let wine really known from all of them by taking schools during harvest by us, by doing interventions during their schools. And as the Donne del Vino are doing now with the Di Vino project, one of our goals is to promote that on students because it's much easier, of course. And the nice thing in France is that most of the high schools have enology clubs. So it's already quite in the culture in France to talk about wine, and that's of course much easier for us. Then we also promote tourism. Wine tourism in France has been like traditional and cultural, and each of our association created a map, which I think the Donne del Vino also had a map, and all of our region created special maps where all our members are registered, and just to when I receive someone, I'm from Alsace, when I receive a customer here, I can tell him, okay, go to my colleague here, you'll find different wines, different styles, and that's really interesting, of course. We have to help each other, and at national scales, it's even much better, of course. Other initiatives, regional, would be charity actions. Aurélie, for instance, just recently, you probably could explain what you organized.
Yes, in Provence, we are very involved in charities. We are organizing every 2 years a big party in October to give money to the breast cancers. So we had a big party 2 weeks ago, and we raised 32,000 euros. And we did a big event for Ukraine to help the families. We have in our region, we welcomed a lot of families, and so we helped these families with cash for them to buy furnitures and to help the kids. And so we had a big on our shop in our vineyards. We in 3 Saturdays we took a percentage of our sales, and we gave this percentage to the Ukrainian family. So I think they are doing also something in other region charities. So I think it's something very important, and women are sometimes very involved in this kind of things.
Like in Burgundy, for example, you know the Vente des Hospices de Beaune, that's the big event, and the Burgundy Association bought a barrel, and these wines will be bottled under the Fameux Vins de Bourgogne label, and the benefits will be dedicated to a charity action. Yeah. So, focus on catering and tourism schools. In France, there are a lot of private public schools with this specialty, and it's quite diverse in the specialization you can find. Of course, you have cooking, but also management, reception, hotel, restaurant, including wine specialization, of course. France has this good reputation in this branch. So, you know, Vatel School, Paul Bocuse, those have great name and attract people from all over the world, with some of them wine specialization. And the industry, yeah, for France, it represents 1 million people, so which is quite big, you can imagine, with 300,000 seasonal workers. To enter this this way, we have different access. Some from 15 years old, but you can also specialize in the schools much later. That's really great, and there are a lot of ways to enter the wine and catering schools. That's really great in France. And so what were the COVID consequences for those? It's this industry of tourism and food and catering was quite tough, and is still quite tough. So 200,000 people left the work in gastronomy, generally speaking. And so all the branch had to do a reset. So they put some new basis for salaries, and despite of that, people left and have more and more just demand. They don't want to work on weekends. They don't want to have break during the day. So it's quite tough. And some restaurants closed, of course, even if the government in France was quite helping during these COVID times. There are still positive things, still. So restaurants are full. Of course, they have to work with the people they have, but they are full nowadays. Just recently, we just elected the new best sommelier of France, and he said that, yes, and that's for the young generation. You've chosen the most beautiful profession, that of making people smile. Many other professions have difficult hours, hospital, airports, and so, but which ones have such good working conditions as we do? Be our pride for tomorrow. I'm counting on you. And that's really great. Of course, we have in the wine industry a job where we make people smile, we make pleasure. Wine is all about sharing and pleasure, and there are not so many jobs having this kind of goals. So we must all be proud of that, and of course encourage the younger generation to enter these professions. So, thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. We're running very late, as you probably all have realized. So this trip around the world that we're doing is going to have to speed up a little bit. We're going to Georgia now with Tamara. And I asked, unfortunately, our last speakers to respect, if they can, the time limits so that we can make it to the end here. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, guys. My name is Tamar Gwaladze. I am from Georgia. I am owner small wine company Bias Wine, and members, women winemakers from Georgia, today I made small presents, Georgia's current situation, and also tourism and wine school in Georgia. Yes. Women Winemakers Association found in 2018 years, and have more than 116 members. These members is women winemakers and sommeliers and journalists, and membership is free. Please, yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. No, sorry. 2022 years, Georgia hosted Women in Wine Expo, and my company also is members this Wine Women Expos. Yes. Also, we participated summer school, wine business. This wine school made by Geisenheim University and association participation. Regional viticulture trainings, speaking in the TV shows. Future plans is energies, association members, and beauty goals. Yes. In post-COVID situation, Georgia state program for the promotion of Georgian wine and working the foreign markets, Asia, US in progress. And in 2023, Georgia became the chairman of the World Wine Trade Groups. Yes. War in Ukraine makes us very, very sad. And today, Georgia's man is here, and they also join Ukraine army. Yes. This is my country, Georgia. As we have this region, wine region. Big wine region is Kakheti, Kartli, Imereti, Lechumi, and Racha. This is my vineyard. This is a quarry and make in-quarry wine. And in Georgia have very a lot schools, tourism schools, and winemaker schools. This is wine school Vino, and wine school Cabistoni, and wine and food school academy have in Georgia, and wine and tourism school. This is my small cellar. Welcome to Georgia, guys, and sorry for my English, bad English. I give small presents from Georgia. This is journal, Georgia's wine schools and tourism school, please. Yeah. This book made GIZ, German association. This is Georgian women's. And please. This is my wine, bias wine. And this is traditional men's, yes. And Thank you, Signora Donatella. And guys, very, I a little bit English speaking. Welcome to Georgia. Hello.
Thank you to Tamara, and really complimenti, as we say in Italian, to all of the speakers who are speaking in English and it's not their native language. I think knowing how we are in Italy, everyone would be very, very happy to speak the English that you're all speaking. So now we'll go to Germany, to Venissima. And Stephanie will speak to us about Venissima, our German friends. Whoops, you might as, yeah. Yeah, come to the front. Yeah.
I come to you.
Thank you, okay. You want this one or this one? The gelato?
Yeah, I think. Okay. I'm very nervous, so I sit down. Dear women in wine worldwide, dear ladies, I'm very proud and honored to stand before you today to give you a short overview of our association Venissima Frauen in Wein e.V. I'm Stephanie and I'm the first chairwoman of our association. How you can easily sense, I'm very nervous and my English is not the very best, so sorry for that. And however, I hope to be able to give you a good insight. You know.
That's your arrow right there.
Okay. Over 30 years of Venissima. Ah, okay. Thank you very much. Over 30 years, 7 female wine enthusiasts founded Venissima in the Kaiserstuhl region near Freiburg in Breisgau. They all were professionally connected in wine and saw, in addition to many men's associations, the need for a women's network. Venissima grew quickly and continuously, though today we count more than 650 members representing all wine regions throughout of Germany. Since the beginning, Venissima is the first and only network in Germany for women in wine business. As I could read in an old annual report, the friendly and professional connection to the Donne del Vino has existed for almost as long, namely since an excursion from the Venissima to Piedmont in 1992. A short structural overview. The board is elected by the members meeting for 2 years in the respective office. Re-election is possible once. The current board has been elected since February this year, and I can also say here that we are a young board, especially for the advisory board members. You can see the last 3 in the first row. And that makes me very proud to see that young women are willing to engage in voluntary work. The board finds professional support in the head administration and the PR office. There's Silke and Christiane. Here you can see the structure of Venissima. The members are divided into regional groups depending on where they live or work. Most of the regional groups reflecting a wine-growing region and are dominated by female winemakers. The last 3 regional groups are not located in wine-producing regions. There are NRW, Nordrhein-Westfalen, München, and Hanse. Region of Germany primarily bring together female traders, restaurateurs, and sommeliers. Each regional group is headed by 2 or 3 regional speakers who are in the constant contact with the head administration and the board and represent the concerns and interests of the individual groups. As a so-called knowledge backup, it's the past board and still supported the actual board, which consists of all former first and second chairwomen. Apart from head administration and the PR position, everyone involved works on a voluntary basis. . I've said it. Today, more than 650 women from all areas of wine industry are active members. Any woman who is professionally involved in wine can become a member. To do so, she needs a sponsor who is already a Vinissima and introduces her to the association. Vinissima is also a cross-generational network, and it's very important for us because women from all generations can benefit from the experience and knowledge of their colleagues. Currently, the members are represented as follows. The largest share is held by the winemakers, followed as the restaurateurs and the traders. Then come the named groups, as you can see. The others include legal advisor, logistics, and wine propagators, etc. Our focus activities. Now I would like to respond to the questions we have been asked. In addition to the objectives set out in our statutes, such as the care of wine and culture of wine, encourage education and steady training about wine for women, and championize equality of women in the world of wine, just to name a few, the accompanying board members set their own priorities. The current board is very much concerned with the issues of providing for women in retirement. Through education in seminars and lectures, we try to show women how important it is to deal with this issue at an early stage. Further topics are the anchoring of viticultural policy in our association and the empowerment and visibility of women in this sector. Another point on our agenda is the regeneration of our association by actively supporting and promoting young women in the wine industry. We want to strengthen the future women in the wine business and ensure the continued existence of our association. And last but not least, to anchor Vinissima as a lighthouse in the diverse field of wine organizations. Now, the COVID had a major negative impact on wine business and eclipsed the other challenges such as climate change, health policy, and the international trade conflict. The lockdown and the closure of hotels and restaurants resulted in a dramatic drop in sale. The decline in wine exports, up to -15%. The forced shifts in distribution channels, the decline of wine tourism, the changes in consumer behavior are effects that we still feel today. But not all is negative. Despite all the negative impacts, COVID set also some very positive impulses for the wine business. The Germans drink a major part of the wine at home. This fact helped the industry during COVID, and sales in the private market even increased by 10%. Whoever managed to enhance the client relationship during the pandemic can benefit also now and in the future from that. Online trading, online shopping, online tasting, and online schooling became usual. And so today the digital wine business has developed to a grown-up market with a big potential for those who take the challenges to see it as a chance. Winemakers have to set up the business more wide in the future, not only because of COVID. Climate change, geopolitical developments, biodynamic winemaking, sustainable wine production are trends to be considered seriously. If we take the consumers along these journeys, they will reward us by buying our fine products forever, and they are willing to pay a fair price to our wines. And now to the last question, training schools and wine teaching in schools. In Germany, there are a variety of ways to approach the subject of wine professionally. From the artisan apprenticeship to the various academic courses of study. The job profiles taught in the gastronomy and hotel schools and IHKs, and of course the increasingly popular part-time opportunities for career changes, and interest people where they're offered courses such as WSET and the Wine Academica in Rust. We heard about it, to learn more in depth about the lifestyle product wine. In addition to these opportunities, 5 wine growing regions in Germany have launched their own courses, the Wine and Cultural Ambassador. This course combines the tourism sector with the professional wine sector. So, now I'm totally to my end. Thank you for attention, and I wish us a very, very nice evening together. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. You're ready to sign the agreement with Donatella. And I'm going to call to the floor New Zealand. So we're going around the world. There was around the world in 80 days, so there's around the world in 80 minutes. Here we go. Can I have the clicker as well, please? Hold it like that. That's going forward. Okay, great.
Kia ora, everyone. I'm Nikki Grandorge, and I'm the Leadership and Communities Manager at New Zealand Wine Growers, which means I head up the Women in Wine initiative in New Zealand, along with Young Winemaker and Young Viticulturist, basically just trying to help people thrive and enjoy working in the wine industry. I also work very closely with Kate Radburn, who is the chair of Women in Wine, and she sends her apologies for not being able to be here. So I can't tell you how exciting it is to be back here after all this time, to actually be able to travel again and see people in person. It's really amazing. And so I'd really like to thank UIV and Donne del Vino and the whole team for organising and inviting us here. It really is fantastic. Connect, inform, change. Now that is the motto of Women in Wine in New Zealand. And despite the challenges over the last few years, we have continued to follow that, and we've had some successes. So we'll have a little look at what we have managed to achieve. So firstly, our current activities. We're set up, we have a national body and also have regional groups around the country. And so the regional groups have managed to run different events over the last couple of years. In Hawke's Bay, one of the fantastic initiatives was they had a fun evening of wine options where you're given wines to taste blind, and there's some winners. And all the money raised for that went for a woman to have a study scholarship at one of our polytechnics. In Central Otago, we recently had a master sommelier give us a food and wine matching evening, which was great fun, and we all learnt a lot there. In Auckland, we had a biosecurity visit to the airport. Obviously, biosecurity is very important for protecting our industry, and we thought it would be interesting to see what happened at the airport. They literally train dogs that sniff people's luggage as you arrive in New Zealand, so that was pretty interesting. And in Marlborough, they ran a negotiation course, which is something that we can all benefit from, obviously with the aim of negotiating salary, work conditions as well. So one of our key roles is supporting women into leadership. Now, Women in Wine came about in 2016 because when we had our board elections, no women put themselves forward. And we were like, well, hang on, there's an awful lot of fantastic women in our industry. Why is this? So we set up Women in Wine to just help build women's confidence, help encourage them into leadership roles. And so we had some success. In 2020, 5 women put themselves forward, which we were thrilled with. And there are now 3 women on our board of directors out of 12. So we're getting there. New Zealand Wine Growers Fellows, we're also seeing more women being recognised in this field as well. I've just put a couple up that were this year's. What I think is really nice is often if it's been a couple, the man has done all the sort of profiling in the front of it, but we're recognising that women are there as well and have helped pioneer our wineries. I spoke about our Women in Wine mentoring program a couple of years ago, and this has continued to go from strength to strength. We've had 5 programs now and matched over 15 pairs. So how does this work? I've had a lot of people ask, is we have an application that lasts about 2 or 3 weeks that people have to fill in a form about what they want to get out of the program, how they want to contribute to the industry, their own goals, and what they want to achieve from it. And then we match with similar women in their regions. The mentees pay a fee, and this is to cover the overheads because there's quite a lot involved with matching and bringing people to the workshops. We have a workshop at the start which gets everybody sort of game ready. And this has led to a second program which is open to men and women. As men were saying, hey, you've got a great program, we want one too. But the second program is for men and women as well. So they've all been pretty successful. And I've just put up a couple of quotes here because I just love these success stories. So becoming a mentor enriched my life on a personal and professional level. It is a great feeling to give back by motivating and encouraging others. And Patricia there is the winemaker at Wither Hills, but she's originally from Chile, now based in New Zealand. And I just love that. She helped me refill my confidence tank to 100%. That's so valuable. I think we'd all love to have 100% in our tank. Another initiative we launched last year is called Go You. And this came about really as we found just before all COVID even started that more people than we thought had said they were suffering from mental health issues or not feeling great all the time. However, after COVID, we found that it was a lot higher than that. So we decided that as people had drooped a bit, we needed something that would tackle mental health, but at the same time help people feel remotivated, ready to set goals and take action. And so I thought, well, the best name for that is Go You. And it's literally helping people think about themselves, work out what their values are and what their purpose is, because then if you're living that, you generally feel happier anyway. And then we've also been promoting this mental health continuum so that people who are embarrassed to talk about mental health, which unfortunately people are, can start talking in colours. So we're obviously all aiming to be in the green zone, but I think over the last couple of years, it's fair to say quite a few of us have dropped into the orange zone. But people can say that instead of saying, I feel depressed. So hopefully that's going to help a lot of people. Now, this is something which was quite a lot of work this year that we have dug down and looked at the gender pay gap. As I said, our motto is connect, inform, change. And knowledge is key. So we needed to find out if there was a gender pay gap in the wine industry, and if so, how much was it? And also, in which roles? Did it vary from role to role? So we worked with Strategic Pay New Zealand, and they said we're the first industry in the country to really dig down to such detail. So the results were the overall median average in the wine industry is 7.8%. The national average is 9.1%. So we were quite pleased that actually, we are better, but 7.8% is 7.8%, so there's still work to be done. And as I said, we went down to different roles, and the gap was smaller in these roles: assistant winemakers and cellar door staff, cellar door managers, assistant vineyard managers, and vineyard machinery operations. They were all looking quite good. However, they were larger than the national industry median average for some other roles. So we really need to highlight this and get people accepting that there needs to be change. And Kate has said, she's stated this, the New Zealand wine industry has a gender pay gap differential which requires commitment to change. We need to take action now, set goals, and commit to achieving equal pay for everyone in our industry. So we've published this, and we've put out a call to action for our industry to start checking their payrolls, and not just the pay rate, but actually the whole package, which is including if you get cars, how much holiday. And there is a new organisation called mindthegap.nz, and we're encouraging all our wineries and vineyards to sign up to that, because you're accountable for your payroll. So hopefully we're going to see some change. On a positive note, we're pretty excited to see that more and more women are competing in our young viticultural and young winemaker competitions. And these are actually the national finalists. So the last couple of years, we had more women in the national finals than ever before, which is very exciting. As you can see, there was a COVID year which we weren't in lockdown, but we had to be spaced out with the masks on. And then we've now got this year where everybody's much closer together. So wine training in hospitality in New Zealand. We've got several hospitality schools, and they cover wine training in that. They have a sommelier come in and teach them, and obviously food and wine matching and how to present it. The WSET schools, we've got more of those, which is good to see more and more people working in the industry are also studying that. We also have training where representatives from the wineries, they go out to restaurants and train people as well so that they can talk properly about them. And one thing which is pretty cool, which at the moment is just in Hawke's Bay, but something I think we would hope to run around the country, is they have a competition of the people working in cellar door. And so it's not just testing their wine knowledge, it's testing their regional knowledge so that when tourists come, again, they're telling the story about the soils and the history of the region to match the wine. So the wine market for New Zealand and post-COVID. Well, like Australia, our borders were closed for pretty much 2.5 years. It was a very long time and quite a strange feeling to think you couldn't really come and go anymore. And we had quite a few lockdowns, like everybody, during that time, and some very extended ones in Auckland. So these obviously affected our domestic and on-premise sales. There's a labour shortage which continues, and so this is affecting work in the vineyards, work on the production side. People are pretty stretched, and in hospitality. And this is having a huge knock-on effect. Again, some restaurants are now just staying closed a couple of days a week because they just haven't got staff. And being right at the bottom of the world, we've got a lot of container and supply challenges. Freight rates are skyrocketing, so that's beginning to put prices up, and the long lead times. So it just means we can't actually get our wine out as quick as we can. And now the borders are open, which is exciting. And there is, as we're calling it, a bit of a brain drain as the young people are heading overseas. However, again, it's not all negative. Some regions actually benefited with the lockdown. It increased domestic tourism. Wine clubs gained domestic members. And now the borders are open. We're getting more international workers come, which is fantastic because vintage is always seen as fun. And everybody likes to have an international mix of winemakers and viticulturists. So people are looking forward to Vintage 2023. It actually also led to more innovation. People had to really think, how on earth are we going to prune all these vineyards with so few people? And so Climo is a pruning machine. It's been around a few years. And in fact, it won an award here at Simai a few years ago. But this year, more and more people had to employ them. So they have just rocketed their business, and that innovation pretty much saved our pruning. And also, our exports are strong. They've gone up to 2 billion and growing for wine. So it's one of the key export industries from New Zealand. So in summary, The New Zealand wine industry continues to grow with an increase in export volumes and value. More women are coming into the industry in all roles, and more women are moving into leadership roles. But we're going to continue to support them to help raise confidence and get into these roles, which is important for the future. We've put out a call to action to achieve equal pay, and basically women in wine will continue to run programs to increase women's confidence, upskill and thrive. Connect, inform, change. We're going to keep going. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm going to call the ladies from Peru to the floor here. But I don't know if you all paid attention. Nikki just told us that they need people to work in New Zealand. People who know about wine. I think we could, maybe charter a plane, right? We could all, we'll be happy to come give you a hand. It's lovely to travel sort of virtually here today, listening to everyone's stories. So now, hola, we're going to South America again. Would you like, Gladys, you're going to? Prego.
Nos une la fuerza de tus sarmientos, la generosidad de tus mostos y el espíritu cristalino de lágrimas que corren en una copa admirando tu grandeza. Salud por lo nuestro, salud por el pisco.
Ok, ci sono anche le slide. Grazie. Scusa. Ok. Oh, perfetto. Davanti ancora? Ok. Ok. Buonasera a tutti. Vorrei prima di tutto ringraziare a Donatella Cinelli Colombini, alle Donne del Vino, per questo magnifico incontro. Il fare sì che le donne del vino del mondo si trovino oggi qui, presenti. E questo è un enorme raggiunto, perché non è facile. E a far sì che questo sia possibile, ovvio, las damas del vino, Italia. Per questo io soltanto chiederei un forte applauso a loro, per tutti quanti, che così facciamo sentire un grosso ringraziamento a loro per questo. Poi, aspetterei un attimino Donatella. Per favore Donatella, vieni qua. Prima di iniziare noi vogliamo consegnarti un presente. Prendi. Ok, espérate, vieni per qua, más acá, espérate, más acá. Ok, ci mettiamo bene. Ok, devo far presente che è la presidente attuale della Damas del Pisco, è una produttrice di pisco e vino del Perù. È un alambico. Viene il tuo. E poi c'è anche... vieni Rosma. Ok. Ok, aspetta un attimo. Prende. Bottiglia. Mi giro come una trottola. Okay. Non è finita. Allora, per farti assaggiare il nostro vino. Personalizzato, ok? E poi magari quando l'assaggi gli dai il tuo parere. E poi anche lei, te il nostro pisco lo conosci già, perché te l'abbiamo dato anche in altre occasioni. Tutto ciò con molto affetto, molto amore. Benissimo. Allora,
Noi siamo las damas del pisco e vino del Perù. Io passo la parola alla nostra neopresidente nazionale.
Muchas gracias, buenas noches. Muy amables por la invitación y estamos muy felices, muy agradecidas por estar aquí en este país maravilloso. Y doy pase a Rosba, quien es nuestra secretaria nacional. Muchas gracias.
Allora, traduco io. Aspetta che non funziona questo. Ok. Ringrazio a tutti quanti per essere qui presente. Passo la parola alla nostra segretaria nazionale, che così lei ci spiega un'introduzione. Rosba Cárdenas, produttrice di vino e pisco del Perú.
Buenas tardes con todos. Mi nombre es Rosba Cárdenas de Grimaldi,
Buonasera con tutti, il mio nome è Rosba Cárdenas.
Productora de vinos y piscos del Perú.
Produttrice di vino e pisco del Perú.
Hablaremos sobre nuestra asociación. La asociación Las Damas del Pisco es una asociación sin fines de lucro.
La nostra associazione è un'associazione senza fine di lucro.
Nuestra misión es la difusión de la cultura del vino y el pisco a nivel nacional e internacional.
La nostra missione più importante è diffondere la nostra cultura del pisco e vino del Perù, è una cultura che si tramanda da generazione in generazione da oltre 400 anni.
Nuestra fundadora, aquí presente.
La nostra fondatrice, proprio sarei io.
A quien pido un fuerte aplauso.
No. Grazie, grazie. Non c'era bisogno.
Pasa. ¿Cómo nace nuestra asociación? Nuestra asociación es constituida legalmente el 18 de marzo del año 2014.
La nostra associazione nasce nell'anno 2014, siamo molto giovani, però abbiamo fatto tanto.
La fundadora, Gladys Torres Urday.
Esa sarei io.
Contamos con 14 filiales.
In questo caso noi abbiamo innovato tantissimo. Non ci siamo solo fermati a fare un'associazione nel nostro paese. Per fare la diffusione a livello nazionale e internazionale, noi abbiamo ritenuto proprio importantissimo cercare di fare filiali sia in Perù, 14 filiali, e all'estero. Ci troviamo in principali paesi d'Europa, dagli Stati Uniti e tanti altri paesi d'Europa, che sarebbe troppo lungo menzionare tutto.
Mucho trabajo por realizar con nuestras filiales.
C'è molto lavoro da fare perché le nostre filiali in Perù sono in mano alle produttrici, sono coloro che guidano ogni filiale e ogni malata produttrice. E all'estero siamo donne come me che non siamo produttrici, però amiamo la nostra cultura e abbiamo tanto desiderio di fare conoscere quello che noi abbiamo, perché purtroppo il mondo vitivinicolo peruviano è poco conosciuto. Molti non lo conoscono, ma noi facciamo vino da oltre 400 anni. Facciamo il nostro distillato bandiera, che per noi è una bandiera, il pisco, che ce l'abbiamo molti di noi, diciamo, nel sangue.
Reúne a las productoras de vinos y piscos, a las mujeres de diferentes actividades profesionales.
È costituita principalmente in Perù dalle produttrici. Il 90% sono produttrici, un 10% donne appassionate, enologhe, ingegnere, giornalisti, scrittrici e qualche ragazza proprio amante della nostra cultura.
Uno de nuestros objetivos es difundir el consumo responsable de las bebidas alcohólicas.
Noi ci teniamo molto a trasmettere alle giovani generazioni, ai uomini, alle donne, la cultura, che il pisco, il vino è cultura, che dietro ogni bicchiere di pisco c'è molto di più, c'è altro. E bisogna conoscerlo, bisogna rispettarlo e per noi è una missione molto importante quello, insegnare che parliamo e trasmettiamo cultura.
Crear propuestas gastronómicas del maridaje y mixología del pisco.
Noi cerchiamo di fare incontri dove diamo a conoscere come è che si fa un buon abbinamento, cibo, vino, distillato e mixologia, i cocktail.
Promover y fortalecer la cultura del pisco respetando nuestras tradiciones ancestrales.
Ci teniamo moltissimo a far conoscere e soprattutto a far rispettare che è una cultura che per arrivare ai giorni nostri e per far vedere, far conoscere un bicchiere di pisco, una bottiglia di pisco di vino, c'è molto sforzo, sacrificio, lavoro di uomini e donne e uomini che lavorano la terra, che portano avanti una famiglia e non solo, altre famiglie, coloro che tutti lavorano in ogni azienda vitivinicola, tale quale come c'è nei vostri paesi, qua in Italia e in tutto il mondo.
Otro de nuestros objetivos importantes es dar a conocer la variedad de nuestras uvas patrimoniales.
Ci teniamo tantissimo a che i giovani, le nuove generazioni conoscano i vitigni che noi abbiamo in Perù, principalmente i vitigni ancestrali che sono arrivati con la conquista, che da noi ce ne sono e sono ancora nell'estato, possiamo dire, un po' vergini. E poi qualche vitigno anche, ci sono anche dei vitigni internazionali ovviamente dove si fanno anche il vino.
También hacer docencia del producto pisco y de la autorización de uso de nuestra DO.
Il pisco è una denominazione di origine peruviana e noi ci teniamo molto a far conoscere questo.
Alianzas público-privadas para tener soportes de las diferentes identidades gubernamentales.
Noi cerchiamo che le nostre autorità si conscientizzino in darci un appoggio. Facciamo tanto sforzo perché non è facile. Normalmente i governi non appoggiano molto, però noi lì siamo tenaci, soprattutto abbiamo queste due guerriere che loro vanno e si impongono e dicono noi vogliamo fare questo. Cerchiamo di fare, non è facile però. ¿Finito lì? Ok.
Actividades, contamos con las siguientes actividades académicas. Dentro de nuestra asociación realizamos jornadas técnicas.
Noi ci teniamo molto a che il popolo peruviano impari. Giusto un mesetto fa abbiamo inaugurato in Perù con la nostra associazione tipo una scuola dove insegniamo il ABC del pisco, della cultura e del vino. Lo facciamo online, che così abbiamo più persone che possono assistere. Abbiamo avuto molto successo perché tanti, abbiamo dovuto chiudere e ne faremo ancora un altro finito questo perché abbiamo già poi raggiunto il top.
Culturales, realizamos la ruta del pisco y del vino.
In Perù esiste una ruta del pisco, la strada, come qua in Italia la strada del vino. Da noi c'è la ruta del pisco e vino del Perù. Noi approfittiamo soprattutto perché, visto che Perù è un paese conosciuto per la sua gastronomia, e allora noi cerchiamo che il pisco e il vino vadano a braccetto. E allora c'è tanto lavoro ancora da fare, però lì stiamo lavorando su quello.
También entre las actividades tenemos las actividades sociales, donde participamos en diferentes actividades sociales de apoyo a la comunidad.
Nel sociale partecipiamo tantissimo, sia nel campo, sia negli eventi culturali che ci sono. Partecipiamo anche non solo inerente al mondo del vino e del pisco, ma anche in aiuto alle persone che hanno bisogno. E ce ne sono tante che ne hanno bisogno.
Muchas gracias. Hasta aquí mi intervención. Cedo la palabra a nuestra presidenta Carmen Robati.
Muchas gracias. Grazie, Rosva. Ah, no, questo no. Ok.
Vamos a conversar sobre las actividades actuales.
Adesso parleremo delle nostre attività attuali, quello che l'Associazione delle Donne del Vino ci hanno chiesto.
Realmente el COVID sí trajo un impacto en el sector vitivinícola.
Il Covid, sì, ha causato tante stragi nel settore vitivinicolo in Perù.
Sin embargo, fue una oportunidad ante la adversidad.
Ciononostante tutto, è stata una grande opportunità perché lì dove ti piegano ti viene più voglia di rialzarti.
Se inicia la digitalización comercial como un aliado estratégico.
Con grande forza è iniziato tutto con il mondo del web. Se ha lavorato tantissimo.
A través de la herramienta virtual se empezó a hacer temas de docencia de pisco.
Sì, abbiamo approfittato tramite la web, il Zoom è stato utilissimo a insegnare. Abbiamo insegnato tanto, abbiamo tenuto tantissimi conversatori in situ con tutte le regioni, tutto. È stato veramente molto riconfortante anche sapere la situazione attuale in quel momento, che cosa succedeva in ogni regione, che cosa passava e abbiamo quasi in tempo reale saputo cosa succedeva in ogni vallata produttrice di pisco, di più in casa di ogni produttrice, perché lo facevamo a uno, al tu per tu.
Siguiente. Perspectivas futuras de nuestra asociación.
Il futuro della nostra associazione.
Tenemos como mujeres empoderadas con sensibilidad humana.
Noi contiamo molto in che la donna sia autosufficiente, ma con una grossa sensibilità.
Buscamos una política de Estado
Cerchiamo sempre l'appoggio del governo.
para el posicionamiento y custodia del producto bandera pisco y del vino peruano.
Soprattutto per posizionare, far sì che il vino e il pisco tengano la posizione che merita come un elemento culturale.
Buscamos repotenciar la asociación
Cerchiamo che la nostra associazione giorno per giorno sia sempre più forte.
con firmas de tratados de hermanamiento entre las asociaciones.
Cerchiamo queste alleanze tipo questa che Donatella e le donne del vino hanno creato. Noi dall'inizio abbiamo cercato quello perché crediamo che nella unione c'è la forza. Più siamo, più ci uniamo, più conosciamo e più facciamo. Rete, dobbiamo fare rete.
De esa manera también buscamos una oferta exportable del vino elaborado en nuestro país.
E facendo così noi pensiamo che possiamo poi uscire all'estero, che ci conoscano di più, che cominciano anche a chiedere il vino peruano magari, anche soltanto per curiosità, perché la nostra produzione non è tanto grande.
Next.
Non siamo un pericolo per nessuno.
Este es nuestro organigrama, de esta forma es que trabajamos, Consejo Nacional Directivo, con la presidenta, secretaria, tesorera, con área de contabilidad y finanzas y un área legal.
Così come lavora la nostra associazione, c'è un consiglio direttivo nazionale che si lavora, poi abbiamo l'area legale perché dobbiamo tutelarci, perché vogliamo essere sempre in regola, perché la nostra associazione è costituita legalmente, l'unica associazione in Perù costituita legalmente è solo di donne e donne produttrici. C'è la segretaria, la tesorera, il contabile, le finanze, poi continua il consiglio direttivo regionale, regione per regione, anche loro hanno la sua presidenta, la sua segretaria, sono tutte responsabili della sua ballata, perché le filiali sono in ogni ballata produttrice di vino e pisco. Lì ci siamo noi. Là dove c'è una ballata piccolina, lì abbiamo una delegazione.
Siguiente.
Poi non ci siamo fermati lì, siamo andati all'estero e questo è un lavoro che io ho fatto proprio da formica. Perché io ovunque io giro individuo una ragazza peruviana che vedo che ha voglia, che ama la cultura del Perù, perché quando siamo all'estero vogliamo di più la nostra terra, la sentiamo di più e allora subito faccio un'incosta, chiedo cosa fai, dove lavora, cosa fai, vedo che è un pochettino stabile, ecco, qua facciamo la filiale, la preparo, la porto in Perù, dobbiamo fare questo, facciamo tutto un lavoro forte perché non è facile trasmettere la cultura la dobbiamo conoscere. Solo così puoi raccontare un mondo, conoscendolo. Se non lo conosci non lo puoi trasmettere.
Siguiente, por favor. ¿Cómo va el mercado del pisco y vino en el Perú?
Cosa succede nel Perù? Il mercato della produzione del vino e del pisco.
Next. Tenemos algunos cuadros gráficos que nos va a indicar cuál es la elaboración de vino en porcentaje de pisco, cuál va para consumo familiar y para la mesa.
Allora, prima di tutto guardiamo la mappa del Perù. Lì troviamo le 5 regioni produttrici con denominazione di origine e questo va per il pisco. Ma c'è da precisare che tutte le produttrici, posso assicurare che il 99% producono vino e pisco. Soltanto un 1% fa solo pisco. Sono proprio piccole realtà. Poi.
Sí, de pisco tenemos 49%.
Ok, quello te l'hanno capito?
Sí, vino el 15%, para consumo familiar un 9% y para la mesa familiar también el 27%. Uvas de mesa, perdón.
Ok, uva da tavola. Ok.
Ok, y ahí tiene región Lima, cómo es que se distribuye la elaboración con las uvas.
Ok, qui troviamo un croquis dove dice la struttura delle varietà di uva peschiera per ogni regione. Qua ci troviamo nella regione Lima, dove c'è Lima, la capitale del Perù.
Siempre pisco 72%.
Ok. Noi siamo molto forti nella produzione del pisco, il vino poco,
Sí.
ma di buona qualità.
Siguiente. En Ica,
Ica
vino-
è Ica è il principale polo vitivinicolo del Perú.
tenemos en pisco 41% y producción de vino 9%.
Ok? Sì, infatti. Ok?
Seguimos, sí. Next.
Ok.
Arequipa, Moquegua.
È così. Lì abbiamo
Sigue.
tutte le regioni.
Sí.
Ok?
Tacna.
Tacna è l'ultima regione.
Ujú, sigue.
Ok.
Esta es la exportación de pisco.
Qua troviamo un croquis più o meno di cosa è la produzione del pisco che esce per l'estero. America del Nord, America Centrale, l'Europa, l'Africa, Asia, Oceania. Siamo presenti un po' ovunque.
Siguiente, por favor. La situación post-COVID del mercado de pisco y vino en el Perú.
Ok, cosa succede dopo il Covid in Perù?
Incremento del consumo local del pisco y vino.
Si è venduto tantissimo. Contrariamente a tutte le previsioni, il popolo peruviano ha bevuto vino quantità, c'è testimoni Rosva, lei che hanno venduto tutto, le è mancato pure il prodotto. C'è stato un incremento grossissimo.
Los vinos patrimoniales empiezan a ser una tendencia.
Allora, noi abbiamo una varietà, noi lo chiamiamo i vini patrimoniali. Cosa vuol dire patrimoniali? Vuol dire i vitigni che sono arrivati con la conquista. Non subentrano lì i vitigni internazionali. Vuol dire che non entrano quelle, entrano soltanto quelle che sono arrivate all'inizio con la conquista, hanno trovato la terra lì, hanno mutato, hanno preso la personalità della terra, il famoso terroir francese.
Sí.
Diventano autóctonos.
Sí. Ok. Y con la propuesta gastronómica empieza el desarrollo del enoturismo.
Ecco, essendo il Perù pole position in Sud America in quanto alla gastronomia, tutti lo sappiamo che la cucina peruviana è al top, abbiamo questi chef che sono stellati e tanto. Quello ha fatto sì che ogni turista che arriva in Perù chieda voglio bere vino del Perù. Quello che non succedeva prima, perché prima non essendoci buon vino, almeno per un gusto internazionale, si comprava vino di altri paesi del Sud America e si vendeva. Adesso non più. Adesso c'è e con orgoglio lo possiamo dire. Il vino peruviano è eccellente.
Siguiente, por favor. Ya estamos terminando. ¿Cómo se enseña el vino en las escuelas de hotelería en tu país?
Allora, noi insegniamo molto cos'è la cultura del vino.
Existen escuelas, institutos, programas universitarios.
Ci sono, siamo molto presenti perché ci teniamo che il popolo impari. Allora, ci sono le università, ci sono le scuole, noi stesse facciamo e comunichiamo.
Pero la Asociación de las Damas del Pisco y Vino ha creado una dirección académica.
Noi abbiamo conformato già, saranno 6 mesi fa, una direzione accademica delle donne del pisco.
Optimizando el factor humano de profesionales que están dentro de la asociación.
Utilizziamo le nostre associate per dare i corsi, perché nella nostra associazione abbiamo cercato di tirare dentro a tutte le professioniste che ci sono intorno al mondo del vino e del pisco.
Okay, siguiente. Los centros académicos contratan profesionales extranjeros con gran experiencia en la enseñanza de vino.
Ciò nonostante non si fermano in quello, anche, prendiamo anche professionisti dall'estero, per così arricchire molto di più la cultura.
Y bien, las bodegas también contamos con soportes técnicos, con enólogos, con distintos profesionales que nos ayudan a desarrollar nuestros vinos.
Sì, le produttrici sono coscienti che per fare un buon prodotto devono cercare appoggio dall'esterno e perciò in quasi tutte le aziende vitivinicole ci sono enologi francesi, italiani, ce ne sono tantissimi, argentini, cileni, vengono a lavorare e così, e questo sta facendo che la qualità del vino peruviano retome il suo situale, quello che fu all'inizio.
Siguiente. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Sì, finito. Finito. È doppio. Grazie, grazie a tutte quante.
Thank you so much to our friends from Peru, and thank you to all of the international women of wine who've been here today and all of the Italian women of wine, le donne del vino. We're going to look at the slides from Croatia because they didn't go. Sanya's presentation was not on view while she was speaking. So if you would give, okay. So they're going to be showing now so you can see them.
Regia.
Croazia. Ecco, ok.
Mentre guardate le slide, vi ricordo che per le donne del vino del mondo c'è la navetta che l'aspetta alla porta sud e che le porta in albergo e che poi ci vediamo tutte quante questa sera.
Okay, I'm going to say that in English. So we're going to have our toast to all of the participants tonight at dinner. We've gone a little overtime now. So we will take our toast together this evening at the restaurant. There is a shuttle bus at the south exit. Is that correct? Exit sud, uscita sud. Sì. Allora, it's at the south exit. There will be a shuttle bus now back to the hotel. Between?
Door 6 and 7.
Okay, between doors 6 and 7, there is a shuttle bus at the south exit that will take you back to the hotel. We will have our wonderful toast and a chance to speak together this evening at the restaurant. Thank you to all of the women of wine, le donne del vino, and the women who have signed, the international representatives who signed the agreement are asked to come take a photo together now here with the President Donatella Cinele Colombini, who will also give her final farewell salute. So all international signature people are requested for a photo now. Donatella? Thank you. Well, thank you. Donatella, puoi fare un saluto a tutti? Il microfono? Foto. All the signature people are requested to come up for a photo. All international participants. Ci sono tutti.